This Soonerscoop.com video is streaming in crystal clear 4K resolution on YouTube thanks to Enjoy Vision in Oklahoma City. There can be only one LASIK center for Sooner Scoop, and that's Enjoy Vision. Enjoy Vision. This is where Sooner Scoop LASIKs.
Hello and welcome to the Family Business. I'm Joe Cusigluen Jr. alongside Isaac Stoops. Today we got CK Caleb Kelly in the house. Caleb, what's up, man?
Dude, blessed day, rainy day, but we're out here, get to hang out with you boys, man. I'm excited.
Yeah, it's brightening my day. This jury after Thunder loss, morning, late night, kind of a mental hangover on a Tuesday, but thanks for coming in.
Of course.
Man, we just want to talk about your kid from Cali, of course, Fresno represent, I know.
Yeah.
You come to Oklahoma football, and you're still here now, so Oklahoma's kind of your home at this point. But wanted to talk about you're a 5-star. Mm-hmm. It was a big get for Oklahoma when they signed you. Mm-hmm. What's the pressure like for like a 5-star? What was it at? Like, let's talk about your era in that time because I feel like it's a little bit different.
Yeah, a little different for sure. Cali boy, Oklahoma man, I say. I've been here since I was 18. So, my whole time being an adult. My wife is from out here. And so that's what they say. Them Oklahoma girls will get you. And one got me, man. Got me. I'm locked down. So I'm still out here, but I love it. 5-star. Yeah, I got to win the Butt Kiss Award in high school. Had pretty much all the offers you could want and all those things. And so pressure-wise, though, I kind of put it on myself because I said I'm going to be a signing day guy, and so I'm not going to commit until signing day, which pissed off a lot of people. Like just in reality, it really made a lot of people angry, specifically coaches, and especially those coaches. Like I was really deciding between Notre Dame and OU, and I really kept on going back and forth. And I've told the story where I picked out of a hat and did all these things, and so I mean we could jump in that more because y'all are making faces, but man. The pressure really was just because I hadn't I had put that on myself that I'm going to be the guy to make the decision on my terms when I want instead of just going in and doing everything like everybody else did. And then do I produce right away? I want to start as a freshman. Do I do those things? Took me 7 games to get to that point, but eventually I got there. And so, man, just my own expectations I put on myself as a 5-star more than now in today's world where, listen, you got these expectations because you're a 5-star and we just threw you a bag. So you better go show up,
It's a little different. Signing day used to mean something too.
Yeah.
I mean, like February sign day. I wish we could get back to it. We won't ever with like the early enrollee. But I remember like waking up in February and like you turn on TV. I remember turning on ESPN, like ESPN U all day, and it'd just be like
and
one
announcement. And
Oklahoma
was mad because it was 2 hours.
2 hours finally to wait.
Yeah,
everybody's checking that fax machine.
Like what's happening?
Do you think being a 5-star, you were recruited a little bit differently? Like, I mean, obviously, coaches, you said you pissed some people off waiting so long,
Yeah.
They probably cared a little bit more maybe towards your recruitment than, other.
Yeah, because like they said, well, if we don't get you, then we got this other guy we have in hold and waiting. And so I didn't really understand that as much as I do now being in the facilities and knowing what that's like. But, yeah, there were kids where, man, they had an offer, they wanted to commit, and they were like, well, hold on that. Like, we only have so many. If this guy comes here, and then we can't give you that offer, that hurts the kids' feelings, that it just makes them look bad. And so I tried to tell, like I told your dad 2 weeks early. Like I called him, I said, hey, Coach Bobby, I'm on my way, man. Don't even worry about it. And he was putting me on speaker with all the coaches freaking out and everything. But I think Notre Dame, I don't even think I told him personally. My coach called him and told him instead. And so they were like, oh, he effed us. Like they were so pissed off. And so that's how I was like, man. And then UCLA out of nowhere just, oh, we don't like him. And he was all mad. Harbaugh called me on signing day after not talking to me for like 4 months. And so my recruitment like at the end was just weird because I told everybody I was going to go to signing day. And every coach I told that to said, oh, no, you won't. And all that did was fuel me to go further and do it again.
So, I will.
Yeah.
Bet.
17, 18, like, okay, watch.
Yeah, right. Like I can do whatever I want. This is my last time getting to do whatever I want. Once I signed that dotted line, y'all got me. Like, so I don't know. I just did it different than a lot of people.
Yeah. Do you feel like 5-stars kind of have a different amount of pressure now? Of course, with NIL and transfer portal, but they also do have a little bit more freedom, so it could kind of outweigh a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a weird balance because, the expectation is high, but now with all the transfer portal going on too, I think that's more the biggest difference now than back when I was a 5-star, because okay, you're a 5-star, but we just got a linebacker transferred in from Oklahoma State, and Kendall Daniels, like he's coming in and he's playing. So you may be a 5-star freshman, but that dude has 5 years of experience at the college level. And so your expectation of playing right away, it may be a little bit different, I think. And so while you're still getting paid and you're still locked in for a couple of years, you don't have as much pressure to come in right now and do it with that transfer portal.
One thing it's kind of off topic, but the Arkansas situation with Nico's brother recently with early enrollee, he gets the money that was promised to him, hasn't played it down, he just plays the spring and then he transfers. Like, where do you think, if you're allowed to comment on it, like what's going to happen? Where are we going to go with that? Because someone's got to pay it back, right? I mean, there's an expectation on both sides.
Yeah, and that's why you got to have contracts for a duration of time. I mean, these guys can jump in transfer portals left and right, but then if they sign a contract to get an NIL deal, well, they have to honor that or else they have to pay it back. And so that'll be between agents and lawyers and all those guys, because that won't necessarily even be within the OU department in our case. But then as you go to revenue sharing and you take that money, I mean, I don't know if that's going to be something that guys are just getting checks every single month. Like, you got to see how much we made throughout the year. It's revenue. So, we got to make money and then pay you back. And so I think it'll be a little bit different. I think there will be some change that happens in that space. But having some guys that come in and do at least 2 years. And for the other side of it, I mean, a college might not want a guy more than 2 years either.
They want to see if you come in.
Both ways.
You could develop. See if you can develop in those 2 years. I mean, you don't take as much flyers on a guy, that you would before.
Because if you lock somebody in for 4 years, well, if that dude doesn't pan out. I mean, how many guys come in, play a couple years, transfer, or come in, aren't good enough, don't play, and then they go down to D2 or to go down to a JUCO and have to bounce back. I mean, there's just so many situations. I think 2 years, kind of that sweet spot where, okay, if you ball out your first 2 years, well, you got one more year. You can collect that check for that last year. We owe you now because we want to keep you here. We can do it. But then if you don't, well, hey, we need to have a different conversation here. You need to get in the portal yourself, or we need to renegotiate, and you're not going to make the same amount of money.
And it was different back then because, if someone didn't pan out, you could cut them, and you lost, some valuable years of scholarships, but it wasn't coming out of your budget or going into like who you didn't pick up in the portal because you were saving that money for hoping someone pans out that didn't. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So that's where it gets kind of tricky. What was like the most annoying or like, I don't know, I guess part of your recruiting process? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Dude, just so many phone calls. and I mean, yes, I was always like, man, I'm blessed these coaches want to talk to me, but dude, I'm in history. Like, I got a test and my phone is blowing up, and like, I'm not worried about this test anymore. Like, and you still got to have the grades to show up, and I still, obviously, I got my 3 degrees. I care about school. So for me, it was like, it's just annoying how often that you get blown up. And back then they weren't allowed to take us out to eat in our hometown and all that. So now I feel bad because I got my mom cooking and I didn't live in the right school district. So we had to do everything at my grandma's house because we used her address and didn't want to get in trouble, which that's probably more of a personal problem.
It matters, though. It matters.
But all those things were just like, man, this is annoying that in some instance of it, just the amount of people hitting your phone up when you're like 14. I mean, I got my first offer. I was 14 years old, and so it's like I'm a child, and all these grown men are hitting me up all day long. It's just overwhelming for a kid,
Yeah, same with me and Joe. I was about 13 and a half.
Man, 14. I was sending 10 hey messages out, not getting any college coaches out of it. Man, I had that full keyboard flip phone. It didn't matter. I was shooting out
BlackBerry.
So many. Oh yeah, it's like, hey Joe, you sent 20,000 texts this month, and I got grounded. I was so fast. Like, you're spending too much time on it. As a guy who went through the recruiting process at like such a high level in 5-star, so you have that taste of kind of what that upper level, high touch point recruiting. How much has the recruiting process changed? Let's talk about high school, because transfer portal is completely different. But how much has it changed now? Because you get to see it from the other side. And you talk to these recruits, you talk to them when they get on campus. But how much has it changed?
It's disgusting. I mean, I hate to be like that, but man, when I came on my official visit, they put us in a jersey and had hats that we could put on. Like, there was no pads and jumping in. I mean,
Photo
you got
shoots,
all these
yeah.
you got freshmen putting the pads on. They said if you want to put the pads on here, you want to wear this jersey for real, you got to show up. And I was like, okay, I like that. Like, okay, I feel you. Now these boys, man, they got 15 photo shoots, and they got every school in the SEC like putting the photo shoot up. Which, I mean, that's cool for them, but man, there's just there's just so much money spent on it. Like, like these recruiting weekends. Like, I love how hard our recruiting team works, and I mean, they bring them in. Like, if we don't have guys, then we can't play games. We can't win championships. And so it is really one of the most important things in a football department. But man, when you got Joe Cooper pulling up with 15 cars on the field, and you're just like, we're doing a lot for some kids. Like, don't these dudes feel grateful just for getting the offer, for showing up, getting the opportunity to do this in real life? Like, it just for us, that was where I think the cutoff was, because I think I was the last year where it was uncommon to put on pads and go around and take the pictures, and it was just like, y'all are weird for wanting to do that beforehand. But the kids, it's not them, but for the other people, like, why are you putting all these guys in there and pumping their heads up? Like, they already are getting recruited. Now we're throwing in money. Like, you're just ego pumping all day long for these kids, and it's just like, man, do we want them to worry about ball or these photo shoots or like playing the game or what coach likes me the most? Like, you know, it's just, it changes the type of kids you can get, I feel like.
It's probably good I'm not coaching. I told them this earlier because we had the same conversation. I was like, man, anymore I'd be like, hey man, we'll give you an extra $1,000 if you just don't do this photo shoot. If you sign with us,
for real.
I swear, we're not going to waste an hour and a half on your unofficial visit to take 25. Yes. And it kind of goes back. Because remember with the bud,
yeah.
I remember the locker. We just had a locker. Yeah. We'd bring out a number. You take a picture of the gear, a hat. But that was like the coolest thing ever. And now it's just out of control. They got full uniforms.
And we only got like 3 photographers, so it's like you got 3 dudes taking 500 pictures a weekend. Like, dang, you feel bad for those guys? I mean, there's just so much.
Man, we didn't get that much when we were playing. We didn't get that many photos when we were playing.
I'm like,
you have to beg people for the Dropbox. I'm like, hey, I'm just trying to get some warm-up shots. I ain't getting in the game right now. Come on, can you snap some of these? Got to throw them on the gram.
You got to pull up your name on Google search. You got to go out there and go to Google Images. Like, please let me be in the background. Like, with the Getty Images tag there too. No matter, it's still gonna make it.
Throw it up.
Yes.
What ultimately led you to choose Oklahoma? I know you mentioned drawing out of a hat. That's kind of crazy if you ask me.
Yeah.
But what made you choose OU, and did you ever consider transferring?
Yeah, I didn't ever consider. Oh well, no, I considered it, but like it was never a thing where I was like, I'm definitely going to transfer. Mm-hmm. For me, when I was deciding, I was between Notre Dame and OU, and how I grew up was kind of like, I went to school where on the north side of town where there's good education. But I when I did travel ball and 7-on-7 and all that, man, I mean, it was like if you look up Fresno, Edison University or Edison High School, like there's a lot of gang activity, just frankly. And so, I mean, we had drive-bys all the time where we'd just be at practice and just drop. Like, it was crazy. And I was just put in both situations. And, I mean, I'm half black, half white. And so for me, I always felt comfortable everywhere. Like, Fresno's just a really cultural city where I could go, and I had predominantly white school and white friends, and then I could bring them to the west side where I had predominantly black friends, and then I was kind of the guy that brought everybody together just with my own ethnicities and my own experiences. And so I really bridged that gap. And so when I went to OU, man, it felt like that. Like, there are guys that come from money, there are guys that had families with a lot of success, but man, there are guys that didn't. I mean, there are guys that were in gangs and this was their way out. And so for me, that felt kind of similar to how I grew up. I wanted to be the guy to bridge the gap, whether it was through the Unity jerseys or being a leader or being a captain. Like that was something that I feel like I got to live out. But at Notre Dame, man, it just felt like all those kids were cookie cutter. Like they were just, I feel like I was at the Catholic school. Like I really felt like that. And so, man, I loved the campus. I loved the experience and the coaches there. But when hindsight, I'm like, man, we went to 3 college football playoffs and they went to 2, and they didn't even have any championship games because they're not in the conference. So I feel like the choice was better for me, but winning 5 of them. But it just was like, I feel like that mix of people and that diversity, that felt more like home to me than going to a place where I could, have great academics. I could, do good and be around great people, but I felt like I could have more influence here. And
it's about the fit. And then Oklahoma had a good connection with Chip, the late great Tony Perry, and then you kind of had a little pipeline.
Dang, you got Tony Perry in there.
Yeah, exactly. I know. I worked with Chip. And so guys like Quick and stuff like that. Yeah, there was a little Fresno connection going at one point, a little pipeline.
Yeah, we had, I think, 4 or 5 guys from Fresno that came before me, because there was one back in the 90s that came as well, and none of them finished except for the guy in the 90s, I think. Like, none of them graduated and walked and did all that. They either got kicked off, like y'all remember Atari Bird or LJ Moore. I mean, LJ went back home and he was getting arrested for crazy stuff. Like, and so
don't want to Google that.
Right. And so it was just like, and he's doing better now, and Makai is still playing football in the Germany football league. And so I still talk to him all the time. I mean, that's still my brother. And so for me, it was like, man, Viney told me, because Chip Viney, he's from Fresno as well. We all had Coach Tony Perry when we were in high school doing our travel 7-on-7, and he coached them in high school. And so it was like, man, we're all from Fresno. All these guys didn't make it, and I feel like I have a responsibility to come here and graduate and come here and just do it the right way and be a little bit different and show that, Fresno, we got great athletes, but we really do have great kids too. We just had some that made some bad decisions, and that doesn't make them bad kids. I mean, Micaiah went and transferred back home and he graduated. He didn't just get kicked off. And so it was just like, man, I got to save the name of Fresno, because that connection was a good pipeline.
Yeah, put the city on your back.
Right, got to put it on my back, man. And then we had Des Malone last year come from Fresno. So it's like I got to open that back up for my hometown.
Wait, Jalen Saunders, he's Fresno guy.
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But he started.
He went to Fresno State and then transferred over here.
Yeah, he made that. I always think of that OSU fan trying to trip him in the end zone. Were you here yet? Were you on?
I wasn't on the team, but I remember watching.
2013.
Yeah, okay, that's
2013.
I get my years all mixed up. I've been here for a long time.
You've been
my dad was here for a long time. But you're kind of known for leaving your mark, making some big plays and big moments. OU Texas, the Strip, West Virginia, TCU Big 12 Championship. Do you have a favorite? We got some highlights.
Favorite? Yeah, my favorite game I ever played in was West Virginia. I had 14 tackles. I had a strip sack, scoop score. I had, I think, 2 PBUs, but my favorite thing was I was playing Rover as like a linebacker. I mean, I followed the tight end. I was man-to-man on him, and I fit outside of him. It was, they made an entire defense for me that game, and it was just, I don't know why. It was dope, though. It was so fun. And so that was my favorite game overall playing in. But then my favorite play, I mean, everybody loves the OU Texas one and brings it up, so that's probably my favorite play now. I think it's fun. My mentality when I was playing was, man, I can be a guy that makes a lot of tackles, or I can be a guy that makes a lot of big plays. And whenever I'm done, hopefully be known to be the guy to make big plays and big moments. So Rose Bowl, the strips, Stephen Parker scoops and scores, and then we're up to 2 touchdowns. Should have won that game. But, there's so many things. I just wanted to make the big play, and I knew, I mean, it's all about the ball. Let's just get the ball.
Yeah, we had IT on, Isaiah Thomas, last week, and he mentioned, he was just mentioning about the OU Texas, like how big of a play that was. And then we were also, when you broke Seth Russell's leg, the Baylor quarterback.
That was disgusting. Yeah, that was so gross.
Did you feel it?
Dude, in my hand, it popped. Oh. It was in my hands because Jordan Evans hit him high, I hit him low, and I just held onto his foot, and then it popped, and his foot stayed in my hand and just rolled out, and I was like, oh, that's gross. It like did the little limp thing where like he rolled over and the leg just limped. Yeah, that was gross, but fun times, man. Fun times. It was like, so he was Baylor quarterback, and so I ended his career. Well, my career got ended at Baylor when I tore my ACL 3 years in a row. So they got me back. You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
That's messed up, man.
You're like,
that's tough. Karma, man.
Right.
The Rose Bowl team. I mean, that was just maybe one of the best Oklahoma teams we've ever had. You obviously haven't left here with any regrets or very few. Is that one of them, just not getting it done that year, overall?
Yeah, I mean, that's the most disappointing loss. Yeah, that one, and then the Iowa State at home when we wore the all red jerseys. Dude, I cried after that one. Like, I'm not even gonna lie, I had never been mixed, because it was that Devin Montgomery, he plays for the Lions right now, right?
Yep. David
Montgomery.
Yeah.
David Montgomery. And so, dude, I mean, he mixed me 2 or 3 times, and I had never been juked before. Like I mean, that was my second year of college. So all freshman year, I mean, even going against Kyler, like I had never been juked the way that guy juked me. And I went home. I sat. People were calling, blowing me up, trying to check on me. I turned my phone off. I sat at the edge of my bed and I just started crying. Like I was like, this is so embarrassing. But that Rose Bowl game, it just hurt so bad because we were the defense that was like 129 out of 129, like, you know, pass defense. Like we made so many mistakes, but it was the one time that we showed up in the big game where we forced a fumble, Steven scoops and scores. Then we go back out after that and we get a 3 and out. And I'm like, dude, we're about to win this game. Like we actually showed up at the right time, and somehow they come back, block the kick, and it was just – that was an embarrassing game. That made me mad for sure.
That was the toughest loss. I don't even like to digress into it anymore because there's just so many pain points.
Hurts. It hurts every time. Like my heart's beating different.
So many highs
right
and
now
so many
than the rest
lows.
of it.
There's a roller coaster of emotions. New Year's Day too.
Yeah,
it's not often when you make like a scoop and score play like that late in the game,
right,
that the other team wins, and just from like an objective standpoint. But the Iowa State game, one more quick thing. It was like an 11 a.m. kick, and so 11 a.m. kicks are good when you win, but 11 a.m. kicks are terrible because you go home, you watch the games, and then you got to see the highlight every time,
every
in between,
commercial break,
every halftime, every break. It's like, guess what? Yeah, I did see that earlier. I don't need to see again.
Embarrassing.
And we never wore the all reds again.
Never. It was gone. Yeah, your dad's like, well, it's out.
We weren't going to be blooded out again.
Right. So they look so cool too. I still have the picture up. Like,
no, it was a clean look. Caleb, of course, you got your soul mission, but I want to talk about kind of the radio media personality.
Yeah.
You also you do a little podcast work through Sooners Sports, or you like do some kind of show stuff.
Yeah, we're with, I think it's through Learfield. And so Rodney Anderson and I, we do a podcast. It's called The Double Take because we get confused for each other so much that we're just like, it's a double take. It works out good. So that y'all can check us out on that. I don't know. I think it's only on like Apple, and then we go live on Griffin TV or something. And so, yeah, I just always have fun talking. I mean, media has just been a thing where I always was like, I'll get in front of the camera. I actually, ESPN had me do a tryout. I flew out there to June right before the season started in August, and they didn't offer me until like a week before the season started. And so I accepted the Soul Mission job that year. And so I ended up turning ESPN down, but that was kind of a highlight, like to have that opportunity to do it. But yeah, I don't know. It's just fun talking.
We wanted to talk about your WWE, but one second. An ESPN tryout. One second. Hold on. Do they like play a game and then you have to like commentate on it? Were you doing color or play by play?
So how the tryout works is because I was meeting with radio and to do digital media, so all the Twitters, all the lives, Instagram, everything. And so they flew me out to Connecticut and what is it, Hartford, Connecticut, I think. And so put me up in a hotel, and then I go, and my tryout consists of going in there, and they brought up the highlights of the college football playoff semifinal games. And so I just had to run through the highlights real quick, like we were pretending to be live on the show. And I got to go through, talk about what defense they were in, what the offense was running, what play it was, and just do it really fast because, it's like 30 seconds. And so did well enough there, and then go and talk to the radio guys and be like, well, radio's different than being on TV. You got to have more energy. You got to have, they can't see you. You got to overemphasize and do all those things. And so I had those conversations with them, and then they just shipped me right back out. Like I was only there for like 20 hours. It was crazy. And then they ended up offering me, but it's a really fast track when you go do something like that.
I was curious about that. You can ask now.
Well, no, I was just a lot of people don't turn ESPN down or
they're pissed.
Get the opportunity.
A lot of people are pissed off in my day just by saying no.
You're about to break down the highlights, and they pull up the Iowa State film.
right. They're ready to go.
Is it something you could see yourself doing down the line? Just media in general.
Yeah, I mean, I've always had fun doing media. Also sharing my faith a lot. I think I'm pretty known for doing that with FCA. When I was a player, I was a student president at OU FCA, and so I got to speak all around Oklahoma. I think that helped just in being comfortable in front of TV, but then also, sharing my faith and growing in it myself. Every time you get up and you're going to put some verses out there, you better be able to know what the context around those are. And so you have to have that credibility, and it forced myself to have to grow in that. And so it brought me a lot closer to God, which helps me out every single day. But then I can definitely see it. It's fun. It's not the hardest thing in the world. there's some money in it, but like you got to get in the right path. And so, there's a lot of people that can do it, and a lot of people that want to do that at a high level, and you got to be unique. And so, I don't know. I ain't had people. ESPN never called me back after I said no. So if Fox wants to hit me up, let me know. No.
Yeah, I remember you on the show with my dad, but he brought up WWE. Walk us through that tryout. There's a possibility we're gonna see on the big screen, like Monday Night Raw.
Just all the random things Caleb's done in his life, right?
Your resume is crazy.
It's just random. But yeah, WWE, man, they had been hitting me up like my last 3 years, it just in a row. When I was playing, I was like, still playing football, hit me up later, still playing football. And then finally I was working in Seoul, and I was like, I'll come out and do a tryout. So they flew me out to Los Angeles, the UCLA campus, and we were there for a week. I took my family with me, and it was really hard, to be honest with you, because it hurt. The ropes, bro, I know they're springy because they are metal springs. Like, it's a metal spring under like a thin layer of leather. Like, it's thin. So I could even send it to you guys. The bruises I had on my back were like this big, like a foot long on my back, just from hitting the ropes, and the bruises and burns on my arm from getting up off the ring. Like, it actually hurts. Like, I know they're up there tough, and I guess your body calluses so you don't get those bruises after a couple weeks of doing it. But dude, when I left there, I was like, this hurt just as bad as playing football. And I'm like, I already hurt my ACLs enough times. Like, I'm really good. And so the thing they liked me for was all the promos. And so it even went a little bit, it circulated on Twitter where one of my promos went, and I've ripped the shirt, and it just, I don't know, it was fun. I used to still remember the rap I did, but I was like, I'm Killer Kelly. Like, that was my persona. And so I'm gonna go out there and do that. I don't know, it was just it was really hard for what you think. Like, I know that it's choreographed, and like the outcome will be the outcome that's determined before, but everything in between, if you're going against, because I got to talk to John Cena, and I got to talk to Rey Mysterio, and even dude, it was Lil Uzi Vert was there. I mean, I met Snoop Dogg. Like, the trip was dope, but when I was when I was talking to the wrestlers, they were like, well, I'll go improv because I've been doing this for so long. So I'll tell him what I'm going to do. I'm going to throw you, come back, duck, and then come back and flip. And so he would literally do it. But gravity is real. So like, every time they hit the mat, bro, it hurt. Like, it's like a plank of wood, like a 2x4 the whole way across. I'm telling you, it just hurt a lot more than what I thought it was going to. So I was like, I did all this in football. I'm not about to come over here and do WWE next. But they offered me. And then again, I called him later and was like, I'm sorry, I can't.
We got a Dos Equis commercial for you next. You're the most interesting man in the
world. Shoot, I'll take it. That's fine.
In Oklahoma, for sure. I always think that too. I mean, that's why those guys get so banged up. Yeah. Because it's still, you're hitting the ground. Yes. You know you're going to, but.
No, it hurts. Like, I'm like, it hurts.
I always wondered, like when you break tables and like.
And then I guess they say, like, the older guys, if you mess up, like, they'll punish you. So like, sometimes the hits are real. Like, if you make a mistake and you're a young guy going against one of the older guys, like, sometimes they'll look at you and like hit you for real, and it can turn into a real fight for a second. And then once they cool out, then it goes back to, okay, this person's supposed to win.
You got like John Cena or like Brock Lesnar, those dudes. Like, that's not cool.
Yeah, like, dude, you're roided out. Like, I don't want to get hit by you.
Exactly.
15 seconds later. Well, it's all led you to this point. Want to congratulate you on your promotion. What's your new title for?
Yeah, so Soul Mission. I'm senior director of Soul Mission now, and so we have Vince Carter, who was 4-year starter, 2-time All-American, not to be confused with the Hooper, but he did marry a Hooper and Shannon Selman. And so, a fun fact about them is that allegedly they are the only couple to both play for national championships. Like, only OU couple. And so I know Billy was real. I mean, he was close. He had a couple opportunities. He would have been right up there with Jada or Kinsey and Kobe. But I think they're the only ones that actually both played. They both lost, but that's beside the point. It's hard to get to a natty. So, you know.
Kobe still got a chance this year. Maybe.
Right. Yeah, so that would be sick. But yeah, so taking over Soul Mission, that's our player development program. We do internships, resumes. We do service trips locally, abroad. I mean, internships all around the country. We are really focusing, especially with the NIL. There's a big emphasis being pushed for the financial literacy. So I mean, guys need it. If we get a grad transfer that's only here for 6 months, man, and we get him financially literate, meaning he understands how to budget, he understands how a little bit about investments, how to buy a car, how to buy a house, like all those things gets him set up, then man, the rest of his life he'll be good to go. And so imagine if we get a guy for 3, 4, 5 years too, how much detail we can go into that. Partnered with Mid-First on that. They got their money coaches for OU, and so they get to bring them in, and we have our own one for football. Shout out Cammie Schaefer. But man, we're just really trying to pour into the guys and continue in this realm of, man, it's all about the money. Well, listen, you still got to be a human being, and when you're done playing football, because even if you play 15 years in the league, Larry Fitzgerald wasn't 40 when he was done. Not everybody's Tom Brady playing quarterback. So I hope these guys aren't done making money at 40. I promise you, I ain't going to be done making money at 40. And so, that's kind of the message we share with them. Like, don't just be a one-trick pony and put all your eggs in one basket. As well as my story. I mean, I had 3 ACLs, but I got 3 degrees. So, like, the excuses aren't there. Coach Venables is big on best is the standard. So, that means in all areas of life. So, that's kind of, a little spiel. But that's what we're doing. We're trying to develop that, get a couple people hired in there as well, and keep it growing.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask, like, what kind of role you guys play when, guys are considering entering the portal or bringing in, even the new guys, like, what's your main message? I'd like to be a productive member of society after football, those are big decisions.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, we're the ones that kind of handhold them as soon as they come on the campus. We facilitate the orientation. We take them to all the spots they got to go to. You got to get your fingerprint to get into the facility. You got to go get your bursars, your classes, all those things. We're the ones that kind of take them to all of that. And so it's supposed to even grow to other sports as well. And so hopefully we can get some involvement with the softballs, the volleyballs, the soccer, all the other sports that are there, and get some more opportunity to bring camaraderie so that they have a community. Because, when we get older and we have our own houses, apartments, all those things, it's all about community. And it's hard when you aren't showing up to football every single day and you're forced to have one. So let's build that outside of just football and build some real relationships. And so, with the transfers and guys, they're right with us all the time. A lot of the transfers take advantage of the internships, the service trips, because they don't have it where they're at, and then they come here and they're like, they appreciate it. They understand that this isn't something that everybody does. Let me take advantage of it.
Yeah. I'm going to say this at the risk of sounding like an old, but it's related, but it's not quite. But I just worry about these. Just hear it. These kids in the future, like these kids that are here. 1 year, 2 year, like you're not going to have that alumni association, that feel like when you think about like if we come back to like a reunion, we're coming back to see like
our dudes.
Yeah, exactly. You're about to see like 200 dudes, give or take, that you're like close with, and just like when they have that feature, that's just not going to exist as much.
No, I agree with you. And we had Kyler's statue, Baker's statue. You walk by and you're tired from shaking everybody's hands and laughing. Like you're just like, oh my guys, and dude, I haven't seen you since we played. That experience.
You see their families and their kids,
right?
And you're like,
what? You got babies. Like I never thought you would get married. Like you have some of those dudes.
I know what you were doing back in the day, but
right. And so it's just real fun to connect with them. But I agree with you, bro. It's sad and. It makes college football transactional. And so Mission, we're that buffer at OU that makes it transformational still outside of your sport. Yeah, you're going to grow no matter where you're at. I always say football is football. These coaches are coaches. But naturally, you get experience on the field, you're going to get better. My first day of doing film, Jordan Evans was like, you can draw up all these plays all day long if you want, but you ain't going to get any better until you get on the field and do it. And so that's a reality everywhere. But, man, off the field, you got to be taught. Like, you don't know what you don't know. And so if you don't know a 50, 30, 20 budget, you're never going to know it until somebody tells you or somebody has you look that up. And so we have to expose these guys to something to transform them. Because, again, you ain't going to have that camaraderie if you just keep on jumping around and following the dollars, which I ain't mad about personally. I understand it to a point, but dang, you got to negotiate something and give and some take. You can't just, I need to go here like the Iamale Alva kids. Like, I'm going to go here for a semester, take this money and jump and go somewhere else. Like, that's shady business. And that the NFL, they see that. They're not going to just say, oh, that's perfect. That's a great person doing something like that.
Yeah, like football, you can jump in there like, on the field and fall flat on your face. Well, next rep, film room, like real life, you don't really get just next rep if you mess up your budget or you mess up your, there's all sorts of things. So, yeah, it's a nice buffer. Before we let you go, want to congratulate you. You're having a kid.
Yeah, baby boy, man, baby boy. I know that may not be public, so there we got a little something.
I saw it on Instagram.
There. Yeah,
shout out Larson.
Shout out Larson, my beautiful wife. Shout out my son Swade. Well, he's gonna be a big brother, the best big brother, and yeah, I'm excited, man. I mean, we got baby boy coming in July, and I'm nervous as heck, but I'm excited. I don't know what else to say other than that. Like we're getting set up, and I'm about to have to do a lot of work because I got rid of my office for him. So he's taking over. I don't have my little podcast corner or anything anymore. It's going down. Mama said it's out. So I'm about to get put to work. But, man, I'm just excited. It's a blessing. Kids are a blessing. And, I feel super fortunate. I grew up without having a real strong father figure in the picture. And so to get to be a stepdad with my oldest son and then to have a kid of my own, I mean, that's a lot of healing for me personally. So it's a really, really, really big deal for me to get to have a baby boy coming.
That's awesome, man. We're happy for you.
Appreciate y'all, man. Thanks for having me on the show.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Man, appreciate you coming by. It's always great when we have somebody in-house, too. It just
right.
It feels a lot better. But for everybody watching, remember to like, comment, and subscribe. That helps us help you. And we'll catch you next week with another edition of The Family Business. Remember to keep in the family.